Big Banan, Turbo Banan. Luli Lolly, log in.
I'm Jonathan Rogers from Grinding Gear Games, and welcome to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of what's coming next for Path of Exile 2. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Sun Priest's Incineration rare finisher effect following the instructions below.
I'm going to turn it off, shut up.
Now with that out of the way, let's get started. It's time to give you a teaser of what's coming in Path of Exile 2, the Third Edict.
I don't get the name, the Third Edict. Holy.
Karui! I have called you here to save our people.
That looks good.
To save our way. Over the ages, we have known pain like no other, but we endured, and we became mighty.
Boats?
Now, outsiders dishonor our shores, and we have stood by, doing nothing.
Oh, fuck. We're getting political, huh?
Hear my voice, ancestors!
We're going full New Zealand.
Show us your strength! Show us the true way!
Get those Brits out of here.
I understand.
Oh, that's very green. Ugh. Prophecy? Some kind of prophecy thing. I hate this guy. And the music. So good. So Karui.
The true Lakuramakoi will rise.
Man, so it's at least one more act. Yeah, I'm thinking 2 maybe. 1. 3 interlude. What does that mean? Woo! Support gym overhaul. Please save the game. Please, the support gems is my biggest complaint other than the crafting. Wait, did that say new trading system? Hold up. Wait a minute. Sprinting? Wait, I even missed that. What the fuck? I guess the league mechanic is Abyss? Some kind of delve Abyss thing? No new class? There is a new class. Wait. Actually, wait. Hold up. There's no new class. Did they say new class? There's too much happening. I got too excited about the...
Now, as you can see, there's a lot going on, and we have a lot to reveal today. We'll start by going over Act 4, the next chapter in the Path of Exile 2 storyline. But that's not all. There's also 3 new interlude acts to get you to Endgame, which means we're removing Cruel Difficulty 2.
Oh!
After that, we'll be going through the massive changes to characters. I'm super excited to show you how I've overhauled the entire support gem system, added new skills, and yes, there are buffs. Next, we'll go over the Rise of the Abyssal, this season's exclusive league mechanic, and talk about the new rewards, crafting systems, areas, and bosses that it adds.
Guys, please, we're buffing all classes, guys. Play our game. It's just like PoE1,
then it's time
guys.
to talk about items, crafting, and oh yeah, trade. That's going to be a big one. We'll then go over our new supporter packs and finish up with a live Q&A session where ZD will ask Path of Exile 2's game directors, myself and Mark, your questions from Twitch chat. And after that, at 4 p.m. Pacific, patch notes.
Are lineage
They're not quite complete, but they should give you some nice details to chew on.
Okay. I'm down with it.
We've got a lot to cover today, but first, another announcement. When the Third Edict launches on the 29th, we'll be having a free weekend for Path of Exile 2.
Oh yeah, you have to pay for the game.
Path of Exile 2 will be free for the first time without requiring an early access key.
I forget.
The free weekend will end on September the 1st, so you'll have plenty of time to give the game a try.
Good business, good business.
All right, let's get started with Act 4. The story continues from the end of Act 3. Doryani has agreed to help you find an ancient weapon that can be used against corruption, the instrument of the Third Edict. The weapon was broken in ages past, but he believes that the pieces may be found in the Karui archipelago,
That was in the
home
teaser.
of the Karui tribes. You will need to journey to King's March, hire a ship, and set sail.
Makes sense.
When you open the map, you can choose to sail anywhere you like. Act 4 is completely non-linear, and you can visit the islands in any order you choose.
Mamma
Will
mia.
you visit the pristine beaches of Whakapanu Island?
Whakapanu?
The Karui whisper of a curse that
What
afflicts
the
all who
fucka?
travel there. Perhaps
the
it's related to
Whakapanu?
the weapon you seek.
The what the who?
Or maybe you will visit the volcanic shores of the Isle of Kin. The Kin have been more restless recently, mining for sulfite and driven by some dark force. Perhaps
That
you will
guy's
choose
based-
to consult
Oh, I
with one of the
forgot about
local
that guy.
Karui tribes. Their ancient wisdom could hold clues to finding the Third Edict.
It's Disa from
No matter
the
where you
hit
choose
TV
to go, you
show
will fight
Lord of the
dangerous
Rings.
beasts. Find fabulous treasures. And battle incredible bosses.
Prophecy. Monkey Boy.
Yama sees your soul.
There are 8 islands to discover, each teeming with
He
its
did, like,
own
one
flora and
attack.
fauna. Act 4 contains over 100 new monster types, 16 new
Fuck.
areas, 12 new bosses, and plenty of other interesting encounters.
Wait, didn't they say 24?
There's a huge amount to show, but we're not going to spoil too much here. We want to give you a chance to
We've
discover
kind of
it
seen
all for
a lot
yourself.
of this in the
But what happens after Act 4?
old trailers.
Well, until now you had to repeat the entire campaign again before you could face the endgame. But after adding Act 4, the game is far too long to make you do that. We needed something else to do in between the end of Act 4 and the endgame.
Okay.
So what else could we do? Add 3 new mini-acts, of course, and we're calling them the interludes.
What the
The
fuck?
interludes are a set of 3 temporary side stories that will be included in the game until Act 5 is released. That will take you to level 65 where the endgame can begin.
Wow.
The first interlude sends you on a journey back to Ogham.
All the way, huh?
Renly has been leading the efforts to rebuild Ogham village after the defeat of Count Geonor.
Okay.
But there's a new danger afoot. The nearby town of Holton is surrounded by an impenetrable darkness.
Holy,
and
it's
each
your
night
mother.
the corrupted townfolk emerge to raid the local
It's
farmlands.
Chat's mom.
You'll discover new areas. And new bosses.
Oh,
You'll need to find your way through the
reused
darkness,
mechanics.
uncover the source of corruption,
Soon you will serve our master.
and defeat it.
Yes, I shall dance with their corpse.
Okay, that's fucking cool.
And that's just the first interlude. The second interlude will have you return to the Vasteri Desert, where Asala has been given a sacred duty. When the skies align, the gifting of water requires a chosen Sekima to meet with the Selkari, guardians of the sacred water, but they're nowhere to be found. You will need to track down the Selkari, find those
Okay.
responsible for disrupting the gifting,
I don't love the desert stuff anymore.
fight even more new bosses,
He has a
discover the
cannon.
secrets of the ancient ritual, discover new locations, and ultimately help Asala carry out her sacred duty.
Like pillars of Arun.
Now for Interlude 3. As royal thaumaturge of the Val, Doyani had plans within plans to save his people from the cataclysm perpetuated by Etzeri's lust for power.
That's the teaser.
One such plan involved sealing a group of willing Val deep in a great mountain vault near the home of the Asmeri, deep enough to survive the cataclysm. Even though thousands of years have passed, he believes that their descendants may still live, and may be key to defeating the beast.
Oh,
The
shit.
journey up
Okay,
the
that's
mountain
cool.
will be dangerous.
Lore-wise.
New foes stand in your way,
Burp.
and the further up the mountain you venture, the colder it will become.
Nice. Love a
Explore
snowy
caves
area.
of ice, and enter the vault itself. Who can say what you will find within?
Okay, this third interlude looks
The
fucking
interludes
awesome.
are 6 to 7 areas each, and generally include 4 boss fights as well. When you put that together with Act 4, that adds up to 35 new areas in the campaign.
Those areas
and
are going to be
24 new bosses.
gigantic, by the way.
It's worth making clear that the interludes are temporary. When
They're
Act 5
gonna
and
be
6 are added,
fucking
the interludes
huge.
will be going away.
Get ready for checkpoints,
These
boys.
are side stories after all. But don't worry, the bosses and areas that make up the interlude are all part of the endgame. We're not just going to throw them away. And with that, we don't need cruel difficulty anymore. We do know that it was a pretty big chore to have to play through the campaign multiple times on each character, and this was a huge reason that the campaign could feel like a bit of a slog when playing through again. But we do also have another new feature to address that particular concern as well.
You guys will never be happy.
So let's talk about sprinting. In 030, when you hold down the dodge roll button, your character will go into a sprint after they finish the roll. This is available on all character classes, and there's no limitation on how long you can sprint for. The primary purpose of this feature is to make navigating areas faster when out of combat. Because of that, if you do take a hit while sprinting, you'll fall to the ground. The best idea is to use a skill when you see monsters. That'll break you out of the sprint so you can engage with no danger. If you do need to run away from monsters, just hold spacebar.
And a bad one,
you won't be vulnerable during the roll, and you're faster while sprinting than basically any monster in the game, allowing you to retreat from combat.
The getting away part, I like.
Sprint is a pretty significant change to PoE2's gameplay. But what I like most about it is that we can accelerate the pace of the game for those who want that, without having to compromise on PoE2's more visceral combat systems. It might feel really good, it might feel really bad
and shitty.
Okay, so that's the new extensions to the campaign, but there's a whole giant league to play through as well.
But
I'll leave that to Mark to talk about later.
No matter what.
And that's because what I want to talk about now is the new stuff for your characters, and probably one of the biggest new systems here.
I don't know if smaller layouts
isn't
the better solution, but maybe this will
support gems are one of the most interesting elements to creating a build. They're what enables so many interesting mechanics and different ways to play.
Please fix support gems.
PoE2's support gem system has just never been quite right.
Yes.
One of the major issues is the limitation of only having one support gem of each type on your character.
Yes, they get it.
We didn't want builds to just become using the same 5 most powerful supports in every skill. The problem with this design, though, is that it's actually working against using multiple skills in your build.
Yes.
If you can only use each support gem on one skill, it means that you're encouraged to go all in on that one ability.
They listen
we want
to
to
feedback?
encourage you to combo your abilities. Something needed to change. So with that in mind, we've removed the restriction of having one of each support gem per character.
Yes!
You can now use as many copies as you like.
Gemling is back, baby.
This should drastically increase the amount of possible builds and increase the amount of skill diversity.
Thank God.
There are a lot of potential builds that suffered from the previous restriction. For example, a poison build previously couldn't add poison to more than one skill.
Yeah.
They couldn't use stacking poison on more than one skill either. This severely limited your ability to combo with anything outside of the specifically designed poison archetype. But now you can.
Oh my God.
Many utility skills previously couldn't scale to endgame because the supports that would make them scale were more useful to use in other skills.
Yes.
You would never speed up killing Palm with martial tempo when you would much rather use it on your primary skill instead. There are more examples like this all over the place. In addition to that, though, we thought there wasn't enough feeling of progression in the supports as you went through the game. There were only 3 tiers of supports, and many of the most important ones were given out at Tier 1. Also, there were no strict upgrades, meaning that upgrading supports when you ran out of sockets required quite a lot of thinking. In order to solve these issues, we now also have multiple levels of many supports as you go through the game. For example, double barrel support gives you an extra bolt, but at the cost of 30% less reload speed. At Tier 2, the penalty gets lowered to 20%. But then at Tier 3, the support gem gets something new. It now reloads automatically when you heavy stun an enemy. In some cases, the highest tiers might work a little differently, and you'll have to decide if you like the upgrade or not, depending on your build. For example, rapid casting. The first couple of levels gives 15, then 20% increased cast speed. But then at Tier 3, it changes to a new approach. For each different spell you cast in the last 8 seconds, you get 10% increased cast speed, which could be a pretty big bonus if you use a lot of different spells.
Maybe it's good.
So that's pretty good for upgrades to the campaign.
I'm not negative about this
but we wanted to add a little more spice to the endgame for supports too. And that's where our new system, lineage supports, comes in.
Support gems, like literally
you can think of these like unique items, but for supports. There are supports that are only available at endgame, but they're much more powerful. Like Ratha's Assault.
It's definitely an improvement.
It's an upgraded version of Double Barrel that reloads your skill as you dodge roll, as well as increasing the number of bolts it can hold. But it does mean that it's the only way you can reload the skill now. Now, unlike regular supports, you can't find these through the uncut support gem. Just like unique items, many of these can be found from specific bosses.
I hate this.
And there's a ton in the regular drop pool too.
Maybe it'll be fine? Okay, I really don't like this.
Some of them are fairly rare.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like Awakened gems. But Awakened gems are like better versions of
some of them are build defining.
These are new things.
Others are just straight up power upgrades. All in all, there's around 40 lineage supports being added throughout the endgame.
I don't know
so
about
there's
this
a lot of power
one.
to find out there. Now, the new support gems are certainly going to open up a lot of builds, but of course we have a huge range of improvements to individual character classes as well. As well as adding new skills,
I like it.
we had a big focus on buffing existing
like
skills
it.
so that they can scale well into the endgame.
Okay, I'll talk about
There's a
this
huge
in a
amount to
moment,
cover
but
here, so we're not going to
there's too
discuss
much
everything.
happening.
We're just going to quick fire through some of the coolest changes.
You know how like you can't play your build unless you're level 28 in
the cold
PoE1?
tools available.
Imagine you can't play your build until you
As well
kill a
as
boss.
increasing its range,
and you get a
escape shot now
support
creates
gem.
fragments of ice whenever it hits the ground. These
Problem.
fragments explode after a short time, making the skill better for killing groups of enemies. But not only that, we added an ice fragment support that creates more of them when killing frozen enemies. And a new buff skill called Ice-Tipped Arrows that allows all your arrows to create ice fragments. This already gives clear to rangers wanting to use ice, but to take further advantage of the ice fragments, Freezing Salvo has been upgraded to shoot additional cold arrows towards every fragment, giving you a
Looks even
nuke-like
cooler
ability.
too. Monkey.
We've also modified Snipe to consume frozen from enemies, dealing a huge amount more damage, giving you a nice ice single target option.
Okay, so they're not really
And
changing
something you
the
might notice
idea
about this
behind
is that the bonus is a lot higher
They're doubling
against
down on it.
bosses.
I like it.
This is actually a change you'll see throughout the entire game. Since it's a lot harder to freeze a boss, you should get a bigger reward for it. Another theme you'll see throughout the game is making movement feel better. Toxic Growth is a skill that was pretty cool, but a bit annoying to use with the jump that it had. Now Toxic Growth is a range skill, so you can spam it more easily.
Okay.
And we've also added a new poison skill while we were at it, called Toxic Domain. It creates a small area around you that makes all your attacks create toxic growth pustules, but attached to monsters. Another skill that was annoying to use was Electrocuting Arrow. It's now just a regular arrow, making it easier to use. But it also means you can support it with projectile supports. And it
I'm
now
thinking,
also
like,
has
are
area
these
of
skills
effect,
that people
making
are
it a
gonna
tool
wanna
for more than
use?
just single target, and
don't
allowing
think
it to
so.
scale into the endgame.
I think people still just want to click one button.
We also added
Oh,
a new
shit.
spirit reservation called Mirage Archer.
Oh,
This
time
is
to
a
play
meta skill
both.
that allows you to create shadowy clones of yourself
Time to play both.
use a skill of your choice.
Time for both.
Of course, one of the other big problems the Ranger had was survivability. Evasion was the weakest of the three defenses, and we wanted to change that. Currently, evasion doesn't evade all types of hits in the game, so
Ranger
you're
had
still
the best
vulnerable to things like
defenses in the
slams or
game. What the
unblockable
fuck?
attacks. To make evasion characters more tanky, we're adding a new mechanic called Deflect. Unlike evasion,
What?
Deflect
Ranger was
works on
literally the
everything.
tankiest thing in
And
the
if you
game.
successfully deflect a hit, you take 40% less damage.
They're
Items
even
can now
showing
give
it
you a
that
mod
I.
that gives you some amount of deflection based on your evasion. And there's a bunch of it available on the passive tree too. Deflection is rolled in addition to evasion, so this is an upgrade for
Okay,
regular hits too.
I'm anticipating an entire
And
defensive
unlike
rework
evasion, there's
based
no
off
maximum
of this.
chance. You can reach 100% deflect against all hits if you spec into it enough.
It's suppression for
Of course,
the game.
this is a buff
What?
that helps all Dex characters, so the Mercenary and the Monk, but especially
It's
the Huntress,
suppression
are seeing
for
big
everything in
defense
the
boosts
game?
from this as well.
Because there's only attack?
Speaking of defensive mechanics, let's talk about block and parry. Now,
Okay.
one of the big concerns on the release of the Huntress was parry feeling unreliable. One of the big reasons for
it's
this
just
is there's a
better
lot of hits
suppression.
that are not blockable, and thus not parryable either.
Yeah.
So a huge balance change we're making is that now everything is blockable, except for specifically unblockable red flash skills that bosses use. This makes parry much more reliable.
Okay,
And not
I
only
mean...
that, but to make block and parry nicer to use, you now also move faster than before while using these abilities. This is a massive buff to passive block as well. So to counter that, we did have to lower the max passive block a
Maybe
bit.
it'll be build
But overall,
enabling
you should
and
feel
maybe
much
it won't
safer.
just feel like PoE1.
Fire skills on the warrior
It was
were not
pretty
really
OP
cutting the
on
monster.
the
So we decided
Warbringer.
we needed to upgrade a bunch of them, but also add some more as well. Let's start with a buff. Volcanic fish are now branches into multiple fishes, giving it much more clearing potential.
They need to talk about armor.
We've also added a new skill called Forge Hammer. This skill throws a molten hammer that does a slam at a distance. You can recall the hammer back by using the skill again if you like.
Okay, that looks
But
fucking
the cooler
cool.
thing to do is to use a Warcry near it. Using a Warcry makes the hammer explode, making a bunch of volcanic fishes around.
Damn, that looks fucking cool.
Volcanic fishes re-trigger when you slam them, so it's a great skill to make a flaming arena to fight a boss.
That looks fucking awesome.
We also buffed Perfect Strike to have a much larger area of effect, and changed Molten Blast to not always force you to move forward. Trust me, it feels a lot better to use now. The skill
Trust.
now has massively boosted chance to ignite monsters as well.
New totem
And you're
build
going to want
arrived.
to ignite monsters due to a new glory skill called Ancestral Cry. Ancestral Cry charges up with glory by igniting monsters, invoking King Kalm's favor. After you do, Use it to
Look
channel
at the
Cal's
tags.
ancestral power. Every attack will be ancestrally boosted
The
with
tags
fire.
are insane.
Your very steps will explode, triggering
What the
volcanic
fuck?
fissures. And molten balls will erupt from your attacks.
It's like 400 tags on this thing.
Warrior shield skills were another area we wanted to improve. Now that we've got sprint, we actually don't need to have a cooldown on shield charge anymore. And now also does more damage the further away you are when you use it.
Oh, movement.
Shield wall got
Anti-movement.
significantly upgraded AoE. Also, you can shield charge right through it to trigger all the walls.
This skill was already doing a fuckload of damage.
We also added a new shield wall cry.
Might be actually pretty good now.
Fortifying Cry gives you a defensive buff, but it also builds up charge on your shield that empowers your other shield skills.
I like
And
these.
Magma Barrier now doesn't require
This
timing in order to
feels
use.
unique.
Just wait
It
for your
feels
shield to charge
different.
up
Feels
and
like
block.
it benefits PoE2 gameplay. Much more interesting than the Ranger skills.
Seismic Cry now stuns enemies that are primed for stun. And we changed the Sunder interaction with Armor Break. It now also gives a Sundered Armor debuff that makes enemies take 40% extra physical damage. Great for bosses.
Yeah.
Ancestral Warrior Totems
It's already
undergone some
kinda
pretty significant
mandatory
changes too.
for Fist
We wanted
characters.
the skill to feel more like using an ultimate. That summoning an ancestor to fight for you was a big deal. So we've changed this totem to require 3 endurance charges to summon, and massively buffed its damage. It also now scales your weapon damage too.
What?
Since there's no
Oh,
limit anymore,
no.
if you build around generating endurance charges, you can summon an entire forest of totems.
I mean, maybe?
In order to make that easier, we added some new sources of endurance charges.
Okay.
There's now a support to make Perfect Strike generate charges, and a support for generating endurance charges from heavy stuns as well.
I don't know. That's not enough.
Speaking of totems, we wanted
Oh,
to
no.
upgrade the Warbringer. Among the other changes we've made to this class, Answered Call now gives an extra totem, and the spirits have just been generally buffed in many ways.
The spirits were
Use it with your
literally
limitless
useless.
ancestral warrior forest to make an army of Karui that would make Tukohama proud.
Okay, I mean, I'm hopeful. Might be cool.
We've also merged the Great
type of
Howl
shit.
and Warcall
I like
as Valor
Warbringer.
support, so that you can get all the benefits with 1 point.
Oh, wow. Nice. Holy.
And Encased in Jade no longer removes the Jade when getting hit, making it a much better defense.
Oh my. Okay, that's fucking OP.
Next up,
What?
let's talk about accuracy. Accuracy was always intended to be something that warriors didn't need
What
to
are
care
we
about very
doing?
much so long as they're in close combat. But unfortunately, that's not currently the case. This was particularly annoying with skills like Bone Shatter, which you certainly don't want to mess with. So we significantly buffed your chance to hit at close ranges when you don't have much accuracy.
I don't like, understand why they're
Warriors
talking
shouldn't
about
require
defenses.
any accuracy investment in order to hit with close range attacks now.
With like the, and they're using it as an example, the 2 tankiest
We
classes
also
in the
wanted
game.
to improve armor.
Then I
And one of
am
the major
Warbringer.
weaknesses of armor is the inability to defend against elemental damage.
Yeah?
In order to mitigate this, we're adding a lot more of the stat that allows your armor to defend against elemental damage. It's now available on items and in a lot more places on the passive tree.
That's not good. Nope.
One of the most important improvements we've made in 030 is to declunk
still
the
getting
action
one
and flow
shot.
of shooting crossbows. You can now reload
I mean, it's
crossbows
kinda
without
shit
any movement
because-
penalty.
It's gonna be the same
But
thing
not
as
only
Fizz,
that,
right?
all skills that can be used while moving now slow you for a shorter amount of time. This change
That's
benefits
it?
everyone,
I don't think
not
it's
just
enough.
crossbow skills.
I mean, maybe with the block.
With both of these changes put together, the run and gun playstyle feels much better.
Okay, that's nice.
It's hard to explain how important this change is for the feel of the class. The Mercenary is also a good chance to talk about how we're rebalancing to make comboing skills much better. Take Shock, for example.
Okay.
It buffs damage and lasts 4 seconds right now.
Yeah.
But that isn't really giving you enough time to take advantage of it. If you're going to add a lightning skill into a build that otherwise wouldn't use one, we need to make mechanics like this much better.
Okay.
So we've increased shock duration on monsters to last 8 seconds. And
Dude,
skills
Shock
like
was
Plasma
already
Blast, which are
pretty
intended to be
legit.
good at shocking enemies, now increase the damage bonus by a lot more. You'll find changes like this all around the game. Chill now lasts 8
8
seconds, giving you
seconds?
more of a reason to weave in cold damage.
I
Freezing
think if
skills
any
are better at
enemy
freezing.
lasts 8 seconds in your
Burning
game, you've
skills
got a
need to cause
problem.
burns that last longer. But making skills like Permafrost Bolts and Incendiary Shot double down on how they're supposed to be used, it makes using them in your build alongside other skills much more
Maybe
likely.
that's extreme.
We're also making sure to buff specific combos too. The freeze explosions from frag rounds now chain to nearby enemies.
Man, do people play the
And
game
using
like
high
this,
velocity
though?
rounds with armor break will now fragment the opponent's armor. This causes monsters to take a portion of high velocity rounds damage with every subsequent
it
hit,
still looks so
even tiny
fucking
pellets.
cool.
So that means following it with a shotgun blast is way more effective. Now,
I
there's a
love
lot
the
more
way
buffs
that
to
it
crossbow
looks.
skills, but for now I'm just going to talk about
Looks
the new
is
one
not
we
the
added,
problem.
the
The
Mortar
feels
Cannon.
is not the problem.
This one lets you socket any grenade skill, and using it will summon a cannon which loads and then fires the grenade you choose.
Okay. What's
Another
the catch?
issue on the Mercenary were banners.
No
They're
catch?
just not very good, so we're doing a big upgrade to them. They now last longer, don't disappear when moving out of them,
Grenade
and we
totem
removed the
login.
Valor mechanic. They now just give a much more consistent and stronger buff, and you can use them when you get enough glory. On Witch, one of the main focuses was making various minion types more useful to use together. Melee minions in particular were just not that great compared to ranged ones. As a starting point, we just straight up removed the requirement for minions to have accuracy. Attack minions now always hit, which makes them way better. Brutes got some good numeric buffs, but we also added a new command skill where they do a war cry that intimidates enemies and detonates any frozen monsters and allies around you in a big cold explosion.
Okay.
We've also changed the Frost Mage's command skill to an ability that adds ice armor to your other minions, adding a layer of defense. And it makes them deal cold damage back to the attacker as well. The ice armor also makes the minion count as frozen, so the Brute's Warcry can detonate them too. Unearth was changed to work on corpses of your dead skeletons, allowing you to summon the minions more easily in boss fights.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's nice.
And they also got a new jump ability, allowing them to get into combat faster. Raze Spectre was also feeling pretty weak for the spirit cost they have. To be honest, we were a little afraid of these when we first balanced them. We've both decreased the spirit cost for a large range of monsters, and have significantly increased Spectre damage too. They should feel a lot more impactful.
Empty test.
There's also a lot of new
not playing a
spellcaster
summoner,
weapons
though.
with newer cult skills. But I'll just talk about one of them that I thought was particularly cool. The Reaping Staff is actually a wicked scythe that gives you a new ability called Reap. When an enemy is low in life, you can dash forward and rake enemies with the scythe to cull them instantly, healing you. It can also inflict critical weakness on enemies too. Now, there's a lot of balance changes in the Witch's Ascendancy classes, but I'll just talk about two of them for now. On the Blood Mage, you were previously required to spend your first points on Sanguimancy, which really was supposed to be the downside for being able to access the powerful abilities on the rest of the class. In order to make picking the Blood Mage a better early option, we made Sanguimancy free, unlocking the power of the rest of the class immediately.
Very good change.
On the Infernalist, the demon form wasn't something people were really using because you lost your weapon stats while transformed. Well, you no longer do, so it's a much better option
Nice,
now.
they fixed it. Okay, this is kind of OP.
On the Monk, the wind skills
Even
needed a
after the
big
nerfs.
upgrade for sure. Staggering Palm can now stack up its duration if you use the skill multiple times in a row, so you can keep the effect of all your skills throwing up wind much more easily.
Nice.
Wind Blast had the purpose of building up to dazing an enemy, but dazing just wasn't worth all that effort. Now it just dazes on hit, meaning a single Wind Blast will make all your skills stun enemies more easily.
Okay.
Following up with Vaulting Impact on a dazed enemy previously did a bunch of stun. Now it allows you to break your enemy's stance. When their stance is broken, following up with a fast attack will do way more damage.
Okay.
A cool build that certain people always enjoyed in PoE1 was hand-to-hand combat, but until now we just didn't have a real way to make it viable. Well, that changes now. The Monk, as a true martial artist, now has the ability to learn the Hollow Palm technique, a keystone that lets you use
their
all
stream
quarterstaff
always looks
skills while
kinda
unarmed.
rough. Wait, what the fuck?
All
Wait,
quarterstaff
what?
attacks now have a special unarmed version, and you get further bonuses to all your attacks from stacking Energy Shield and Evasion on your character.
Hello?
A new keystone we also added to the Monk section of the tree is Walker of the Wild.
Why is it on 720 by
This changes
default?
Mana Leech to work with elemental damage instead
I
of
thought it was
physical,
just their bitrate being shit.
which is pretty useful for all those elemental attacks the Monk has.
Last
But it works
PoE2
well for the
announcement,
Ranger
I had
too.
to message Nick and tell him to up the bitrate.
Now, one of the
'Cause it was
least
too
used
low.
Ascendancy class in the game
So
is the
just assume
Acolyte
that
of
it's
Chiyola,
them.
so we knew we needed to make some changes
Sorry,
here.
guys.
One of the key things we had to do was make the chaos damage that the Acolyte can do much more useful. So we've added a new skill, allowing chaos damage to ignite, shock, chill, and freeze, embracing the elemental prowess of the Monk in a truly chaotic fashion.
Okay, I don't know what they said. I'm
In
gonna have to
addition,
rewatch
he can
this
make
part.
all of his chaos damage leech. And we've buffed Into the Breach and Embrace the Darkness by moving the effects of the 4-point nodes into the base skills.
I don't know, I didn't pay
He
attention.
also gains a new notable, Grasp of the Void, which leaves void illusions behind you as you dodge roll. If they're killed, they do massive explosions of darkness, dealing damage to everything in sight.
Looks cool.
Now let's talk about Sorceress skills. One of the things we wanted to improve on the Sorc is the ability to use multiple elements together more effectively. Now, this might seem small, but one of the things pushing you towards using a single element is debuffs like elemental curses, which lower resistances of a single element.
Why
In
is
order to
this
fix
so
that,
laggy?
we're making
Why are
quite a
they
lot of
using
game-wide
these
changes to
flips?
these kinds of mechanics to broaden what they apply to. So for example, there's no longer 3 curses for fire, ice, and lightning. Instead, there's just a single curse that buffs all 3 at the same time.
Good change.
And things like Frost Bomb, which gave you cold exposure, now give elemental exposure. You can use it to buff any of your other skills.
Good change too.
We also wanted to make switching between different weapon sets smoother, so you can use different elemental staves more effectively. To do that, we've removed the weapon switch time, and now happens instantly. This applies
Oh.
game-wide too.
Oh, wow.
Now, we didn't just want to stop there. We wanted
That's a
to add
big
some
change.
specific mechanics that work between different elements, and that's where elemental infusions come in. Certain
Weapon
skills
switching?
can
Weapon
now drop
switching feels
elemental
good in
infusions.
PoE2.
For example, when a Frost Bomb explodes, it leaves behind a cold infusion on the ground.
It's automatic.
After picking it up, you can spend it on one of any number of different skills to transform how they work. Spark will create a nova of cold-infused projectiles.
Wow.
Ice Nova will leave a chilled area on the ground. And we also added a new low-level skill that fires ice shards. Use it with cold infusion though, and the ice shards will explode. Orb of Storms
using
now
God
generates
mode.
lightning infusions when you cast enough spells near it. And that's all spells, by the way, not just lightning. Once you
Oh,
have one,
wow.
you could cast a lightning flame wall, which adds both fire and lightning damage to all the projectiles that pass through
Oh,
it.
wow, wow, wow.
Or power up Ember Fusillade with lightning, which will generate arcs to nearby enemies as each fireball hits.
Wow, wow, wee, wow.
Or maybe go lightning on lightning with arc. This skill is now a projectile, and by infusing it, you can go full Palpatine. Get fire infusions by blowing up monsters with Living Bomb. Then use them with Comet to summon a giant fire meteor from the sky. Or use it with Firestorm, which transforms it from a small area into a much bigger one. Firestorm is unique in that it can be infused by multiple different elements at the same time. Add an ice infusion to rain down ice at the same time as the fire. And add lightning to add deadly strikes from the heavens into the mix.
Okay.
Or use it with all 3 to
generate.
generate a storm that is truly apocalyptic.
Jesus Lord.
Cold Snap has been
Apocalyptic to
simply
your
turned into
FPS.
Snap. Previously, you could use it to shatter ice, but now it works to detonate all of the different elemental ailments and makes them leave behind infusions. And just like how you could previously use it on Frostbolt, you can now also use it on Orb of Storms and Solar Orb to detonate those as well, which means you can create many infusions at once. We also have a Spirit
Improved
Reservation
a lot
skill
of visuals too.
and a support gem to help generate them too. On the passive tree, we've added quite a
Oh,
few new
wow.
keystones to the Sorceress section. Here are a couple of examples. The Black Flame Covenant keystone converts your fire spells to chaos and causes your ignites to deal chaos damage. Your fire spells and ignites will also turn purple.
That's a cool change.
The Ritual Cadence keystone causes your invocation skills to trigger more times, but makes them trigger periodically over a longer duration instead of one. Great for those auto bomber builds.
Oh, damn.
Now, in addition to skill changes, we've added a lot more options for the passive tree for each class. Overall,
Really,
there are
that's
more
gonna
than
suck.
100 new notables on the tree, usually around 20 per class, along with smaller clusters as well. Check out the old version. And here's the new version.
Yeah, it
it's a
feels
lot
like
more
there's a
dense
lot
and there's
more.
more interesting nodes than before. Now, we probably can't go through too many of these in the live stream, so I'll just show you one from each class's area of the tree. We tried to be a lot more thematic with the new nodes. So for example, the Molten One's Gift. It lets the benefit of Armor Break apply to your fire damage. Or how about
Okay.
Last Stand, which gives you lots of stats as your situation becomes more and more desperate.
Okay.
A lot of these have themes aligning with Ascendancy classes. Like for the Gemling Legionnaire, for example. You have crystallized immunities, which makes you immune to different status ailments depending on which support gem color
Okay,
you have
that's
socketed
kind
the
of
most.
OP. That's kind of cracked. What the fuck?
Another Ascendancy class aligned notable is Sanguimatic Rituals. It allows arcane surges to generate life instead of mana, unlocking that support gem to be used with the Blood Mage Ascendancy.
Whoa! Okay,
In the
that's
Sork
crazy.
area, you'll find these
What?
Archon nodes that allow you to convert all of your elemental damage to a specific element. You become a Lightning Archon when you spend enough mana, after which all your skills will be converted to lightning, and you will do extra lightning damage as well. We have ones
Mamma
for cold
mia!
and fire too, with different triggers. Here's another cool one. Elemental Practitioner gives crit bonuses if you've triggered a skill recently, while also making crits generate more energy for triggers. Or maybe you'd like the Great Boar. It gives you a reason to stack dexterity to make you tougher, giving a bonus to life and stun threshold.
Wow.
Or the Cunning Fox. It straight up gives you 5% quality to all your gems.
But they have to like...
Now another major change is attribute requirements.
All of gemling.
We felt like players probably had a few too many nodes and attributes and not enough in interesting passives. So we lowered attribute requirements by 25% across the board.
Okay.
That means you'll have more points to spend on interesting notables rather than just needing to allocate more strength, dex, and int.
Good change.
Now there are way more changes than just these. These are just some of the cooler ones we wanted to show off, but I'd say that's just about enough for now. We're not even half done yet. So I think it's time that we talk about the League, the rise of the Abyssal. And to do that, I'd like to hand things over to Mark.
As you just saw, even though there are major changes to the campaign for this update, we want to make sure that every time you come back for an expansion, each area feels different with something extra going on. It is really important to make sure your experience when returning between expansions is fresh and filled with new content. And the way we did this was through leagues.
Put your Adidas
Every expansion we make has a league, which not only has a fresh economy, but also has new content exclusively available in that league. So,
the NPCs are
let's
cheering.
delve into the details of what Path of Exile 2's first
Just
official
like real
league
life.
is bringing to the table. The Abyssal are a race that have mastery of forbidden magics and necromancy. They were thought to be extinct, but have merely been biding their time underground. You first encounter signs of the Abyssal in Clarefell, where you discover that during the night, weaker members of the Undead Legion have been attacking the encampment. The townsfolk require your help to investigate where the monsters are coming from and put a stop to their attacks.
Out there, ancient creatures, lurking beneath the surface.
As you proceed through Rayclast, you'll find fissures in the earth connected to larger pits. The monsters normally inhabiting the area are being affected by it, harmed by it even, having their souls eaten to strengthen the Abyssal
This guy's
underground.
about to break his fucking keyboard.
As you defeat the monsters, the fissure closes and Abyssal emerge.
They run at
angered by
400%
you
movement
killing their
speed
food.
and have 6,000 HP.
Once all those fissures have been sealed, the pit activates, and more Abyssal pour out. This is where the larger and more dangerous monsters reveal themselves, as hordes of Abyssal spew out from the pit to take
Man,
your soul.
noobs are gonna hate this shit.
If you kill a magic pack, then magic Abyssal arise. If you kill a rare, then a rare monster will emerge from the pit, having absorbed some or all of its modifiers for itself.
Mamma mia.
This means the monsters emerging will generally be more difficult
Guys,
and more rewarding,
turn off the
as
temporal
each
bubble
modifier
for
gives
your
better
showcase.
rewards. If you are able to kill them all, the pit will seal shut. As each pit is closed, it reveals a potential reward. Abyssal troves will rise up out of the pits, allowing you to get some epic loot.
That's crazy. Never done before.
Areas often contain many pits, with many fissures, and the amount goes up as you progress through the game, getting more
Most people
intense.
contain at least 2 pits.
It doesn't stop there. When monster mods are absorbed, they have a chance to become infused with the dark necromancy, transforming them into abyssal modifiers. For example, you defeat this monster with the Mana Siphoner modifier. Their soul is eaten by the pit, and a rare monster emerges. The Mana Siphoner modifier has transformed into Soul Siphoner, and is now amplified in danger and reward.
Why would you use this cringe mechanic to show this?
Abyssal pits
Is it a
also
fucking
interact
giant
with other
donut
monsters
now?
and mechanics.
That makes your character
If
unplayable?
you defeat a rogue exile that's near one, it'll be revived as a Lichborn that has multiple abyssal modifiers.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Lichborn exiles even have their own unique jewel they can drop, if you are lucky enough to encounter
Like,
and
imagine
kill
this
them.
fucker with a temporal bubble and with a fucking
If an abyss spawns near a
siphoner.
boss, killing it will summon a gigantic Giga Larvae creature.
What the fuck is that? It's your mom.
Monsters imprisoned in essences near abyssal pits are affected by the
She's
abyss
in the
too.
game.
They will come with an
big-ass
additional
noodle
new
thing.
essence item that can be used to craft your items. So,
Yeah, I like the
that's your bread and
idea of
butter of the
this.
Abyssal League. Kill surface-dwelling monsters, kill the emerging Abyssal, close the fissures, overcome pit encounters, and reap the rewards.
I feel like noobs are gonna hate
There's
this.
a lot more to this league, however.
But maybe
As
it's
you
well
complete
balanced.
abysses,
Cough,
you
cough.
can find ancient pieces of bone, preserved from the remains of fallen Lichborn. These are one of the many rewards for your mission to seal the pits. You can use this on a rare item to imbue it with Abyssal magic, adding a special hidden modifier to your item.
Mamma mia.
But how do you reveal it? In Act 2 of the campaign, you'll encounter a new area. This area is overrun by the Abyssal and the Lost Men. After clearing through this area, you'll find the Well of Souls, a giant cavity with a massive vortex of souls swirling beneath you.
That looks fucking cool. But I hate what I'm gonna hear next.
So how do you reveal the mods on your Abyssal-infused items? Obviously, just throw them in, right? Yes, that's exactly what you do.
Except?
Before throwing it in, you are given the option of how you want to transform it, in the form of a choice of 3 different modifiers. Once you've chosen your desired mod, throw it in, where it will absorb the power of the souls, and the ominous creature will then retrieve it for you. These modifiers can be ones from the core mod pool, all the way through to specialized modifiers that cannot normally appear on items. During the campaign, you can use it as a way to more easily add useful existing mods.
So it's
but
like
during the
unveil,
endgame, there
but
is a
you have
whole
to
set
walk
of new
here
and powerful
or
mods you can
waypoint
add to your
here,
items.
and you have to wait for the animation.
Like this mod for crossbows that allows you to place an additional ballista totem.
It's like the reverse PoE
Or
one. I
this
kind of
one
like
that
it.
adds spirit to your staff.
Oh damn! Wow.
Or this one that allows you to generate more combo with your quarterstaff skills.
Not bad.
And speaking of endgame,
I wonder how much you're going to be using
also use the
this.
system to craft waystones.
Oh.
With a preserved vertebrae fused into your waystones, you can get some new modifiers that push difficulty and rewards to new heights.
Oh damn! And you can have an extra
Here are some
aspect.
examples of those mods. You always get a choice of 3, so you
Siphoning
can avoid
ground.
anything you don't think your character is capable of.
Man, I love the
With
idea
this
of all of
modifier,
this,
the
but
natural inhabitants
I worry
of the
about
area
the execution.
are all spawned near abysses. And
Like, it might
there
just
are
be
up
too
to
annoying
9
for a
additional
lot of
abyssal
people.
pits in the area, making it just a full-on abyss ruckus.
Ruckus.
Or
Said
this
it.
one, which causes the final abyssal pit in the area to always result in a boss encounter.
Yeah, talk about
Be
the
it
boosies.
either one underground or one that emerges out. There are dozens of these waystone modifiers in total you can get from this crafting. That covers the new crafting mechanic. So what's left? Well, we talked about how when closing pits you can get abyssal troves, but sometimes when closing an abyss, you'll reveal an underground cavern that leads to the abyssal depths.
It's a dark domain, sir.
After jumping into the depths, you'll find an abyssal city, swarming with legions of the undead.
And these mobs
When
look so
underground,
fucking cool.
every single rare abyssal enemy will have an abyssal modifier. And at the end of the dungeon, you'll even find a rare with a more powerful Lichborn modifier.
Oh, fuck.
Once you're
crazy.
able to defeat this powerful rare, you can also find some nice rewards. Aside from the entire area being valuable due to the abyssal modifiers on the monsters, it has its own specific drops too. One example is a set of lineage supports that can rarely be found in these depths, like Kurgel's Leash. This support empowers both you and your minions when you command them, granting unholy might to you both.
Okay.
Another depth-specific outcome is a set of omen-like items that amplify your abyssal crafting.
I don't know. I'm not sold on this drop-only support stuff.
Additionally, we're adding some new socketables that can drop from the abyssal depths. Take Ullaman's Gaze, which can be socketed into your armor. These are a bit special in that you can only have one equipped at a time, but give some pretty powerful effects.
I mean, this one looks terrible.
Think of them as almost a unique socketable for your equipment.
I mean, I guess the accuracy is decent.
In the endgame, where you can still find depths, you also start to find a different type of underground chamber.
More?
In these areas, you'll find an ancient spire, a device being used by commanders of the abyssal factions to plunge Rayclast into a lightless void.
What is going on, bro?
Your goal is simple. Kill this commander and destroy the spire.
I guess it's Atlas points?
There are 4 bosses in the Abyss League,
Oh shit,
and there are
Darkness
some
and Thrones.
pretty cool uniques available from them. An example is this belt, Darkness Enthroned. It has 2 sockets, but hold on, socketables don't work on belts. Well, this belt has a special mod that allows it to count as a different slot for the purpose of socketables.
Oh, and
This
there's
one, for
different
example,
ones?
counts as a helmet. I kind of want one that counts as a body armor. I wonder how rare that one is.
Damn.
You can also find this unique jewel,
Interesting.
Undying Hate. This jewel transforms part of your passive skill tree into an abyssal version.
What the
And has
timeless
multiple
fucking
depths.
abyssal thing?
The deeper it goes, the more of your passive tree is affected, allowing you to fulfill your fantasy of becoming part Abyssal Lich.
Holy.
Now, the last thing that Abyssal commanders can drop is a Finger of the Lich. But
More?
what use do you have with a random undead finger? Well, the next time you return to the Well of Souls, with the finger in your inventory, your character will almost feel compelled. To do what, though, you might ask? To jump in. The items you threw in came back more powerful, right? So, what's the worst that could happen? Well, you will just have to find that one out for yourself.
You can crangle your character?
Along with the introduction of Act 4 and the interlude, we will be adding
you probably fight
25
Fulamac.
new endgame maps. These maps will contain all the new monsters and bosses we're adding, improving variety and giving you opportunities to experience the new boss fights many times.
Okay.
Let's take a look at some examples.
Here we go.
Rock Pools is a map where you explore a shallow rocky coastline, surrounded by coral and filled with sirens. At the end is a giant Goblin King boss, ready to eat sulfite and squish you like a bug.
Goblin?
Holton is an Ezomite township which has seen better
I fought
days.
that guy in the demo.
Explore and clear the township to find a gothic, Reaper-like boss
I fought
with
this
the
guy in
ability to
PoE1.
manipulate storms and fry you with both lightning and wither you with chaos. Given some of the new bosses added are a bit more epic, such as the Act boss and final
Aye, aye.
bosses of each interlude part,
Ooh la la.
it would be a bit of a waste to just use them as regular map bosses.
Okay.
Instead, we'll be adding some new mechanics to the Atlas that use them.
Oh.
These start appearing pretty fast into the endgame and will help bridge the gap until you do your pinnacle bosses. In the
I like
desert
it.
biome, you can encounter a wild sandstorm. 3 maps around the sandstorm contain a device you must activate. Upon doing this, the sandstorm's magic is disrupted, revealing the map inside and allowing you to access it and find the cause.
Okay. Yeah, more boosty is
This
always
presents
good.
itself in the form of a boss, similar to the existing Citadel bosses. This boss is a Faradin Swordmaster, who has been blessed with the power of a Time Djinn, allowing him to take his swordsmanship to the next level by replicating himself, maneuvering rapidly, and severing the fabric of time itself with his powerful slashes.
What the?
In the water biome,
Doriani
you'll
on
encounter a
steroids.
giant maelstrom, where one of the maps surrounding the water biome connects to it, but the connection is obscured. You must run the maps nearby, hoping to find a beacon, which will remove the maelstrom and reveal the connection to that map.
Oh my god.
Another example
That's
is
gonna
this
be so
Vaal
fucking
vault
annoying.
in the mountain biome. But how do we get inside?
Okay, blood.
Running the adjacent maps to it will yield a key, which you can then use to gain access to this vault. Or, you could just trade for one, I guess. Use the key to dispel the powerful force field surrounding it, leading to the Vaal Elite and their rewards inside.
Okay, okay.
These all contain Uber versions of the Act 4 boss, and the bosses at the end of each part of the interlude,
Oh.
and each have their own exclusive drop pool of new lineage supports, which, as Jonathan spoke about earlier, are powerful support gems that modify your skills in pretty crazy ways. As an example of a lineage support which can come from the Faradin Swordmaster mentioned earlier, we have Garukhan's Resolve,
Bifurcates?
which causes your critical strikes to fork, but requires some mobility on your part to properly enable.
What the fuck is that
From
gem
the
even
boss sealed
saying?
in the Vaal Vault,
Bifurcate?
we have Paquate's Pact, which
Paquate's
supports
Pact?
your war cries, causing them to inflict massive amounts of corrupted blood at the cost of your own life.
Wait, that's
Additionally,
OP.
some maps can now spawn summoning circles,
'Cause you can
a
life
room
regen with Arcane
resembling an
Surge now.
Ezomite henge. Activating this henge will spawn bosses. It's as simple as that. We'll also be making changes to how affixes and waystones work. As the current
Just a random
prefixes
boosie?
equals good, suffixes equals bad, iteration isn't quite hitting the mark.
What do you mean? It's good.
We tried something new here in Path of Exile 2, but
No.
after seeing the feedback, we decided we actually liked what we had in Path of Exile 1 more. Like Path of Exile 1, each affix will now be both difficult and rewarding. Waystone mods now grant an increase to the number of waystones dropped, and an additional specific upside attached to it. This means as you roll your map, they will continue to get more difficult and more rewarding, and allow you to customize the difficulty and rewards of your maps better.
I don't understand. What's
For
the
example,
point?
the Frostbitten mod, which causes enemies to deal cold damage, also increases the rarity of items dropped as its upside.
Yeah.
Whereas the Of Venom suffix modifier, which causes enemies to poison on hit, has the upside of granting increased pack size. Some maps will end up having a lot of rarity, some a lot of pack size, and others will just have a mixture of everything. Due to now having more modifiers granting difficulty, we will of course be reducing the difficulty per modifier to account for this.
Actually, it's like PD2.
So,
that's what it is.
That's your Atlas, maps,
It's literally
and Waystones.
PD2.
But what about Breach, Ritual, Pinnacle content, and others of the sort? We're making some changes around this too. The first change is that you'll now be able to invest 2 points into your specific League Atlas trees before having to run the Pinnacle content.
Nice. Good change.
There will be a specific objective for each type of content which grants you those points. For example, in the case of Delirium,
What the fuck
it's
is
simple.
happening on my screen?
You just need to find and kill one of the bosses in a map, Omniophobia or Kosis. The rest of the points for each content come from the Pinnacle content, but we're making some changes to accessibility here too. Currently, access to most Pinnacle content requires the same key at the easiest and most difficult version of the content. This creates a negative feeling where
This
at
was a
lower
matter of
difficulties, instead of wanting to run the content, you're often better off just selling it to someone who can run it at maximum difficulty. To address this, each content will now drop splinters, which will not form into singular items. Instead of using the singular combined item in the Realm Gate, you can now just bring your splinters. Upon
I love
inserting the splinters into
splinters.
the Realm Gate, an interface will appear, allowing you to pick your difficulty, and you'll notice each difficulty has a different entry cost. This means if you want to run easier difficulties, it costs less,
I mean, it's a
which
good
also
change,
allows you to
but
run this content much sooner into the endgame.
feels like we could do without this.
Because these encounters now just require splinters, their
Just, like, at
corresponding
least
Atlas
auto-pick
tree
it
no
up, you
longer
know?
affects the difficulty of them, and has been changed to purely affect the content and maps on the Atlas. The Arbiter of Ash works a bit differently. Instead of requiring splinters, he still needs crisis fragments. We now have only two
Yeah, I guess
difficulties
it's
of
fine.
the Arbiter. The first, requiring the existing fragments obtained from citadels. The second, Uber Arbiter, requires calamity fragments. These come from Citadel bosses also, but only once you've allocated the maximum number of points in your boss Atlas tree, ensuring those citadels are at their highest difficulty level. Since we're talking about Pinnacle content, we also felt that the leveling curve in the late game was a bit too steep. We've smoothed this out a bit so that it's easier to get to the mid-90s. We've also added some new in-game unique items. Let's take a look at a couple. Thunderfist is a pair of gloves that grants Crackling Palm, a skill which empowers your unarmed attacks, granting the ability to call down the storms themselves on enemies you hit. Put simply, literally every monster you hit with your unarmed skills will be struck by powerful lightning.
Looks fucking cool.
Pair this with the aforementioned Hollow Palm technique to embrace your true unarmed prowess in combat. Another unique we're adding is Henekura's Sight. Equip this amulet to be granted the power of the Mother of Death herself. This is reflected by granting you a skill called Foresight. While you have Foresight, your dodge roll no longer avoids hits. But instead, being hit while dodge rolling restores you to full life and makes you unable to die for a brief period of time.
What the fuck?
You'll notice when this does occur, a copy of your character appears and takes the full damage. This is you seeing that future, as if you hadn't been wearing the amulet.
That's pretty cool.
Ultimately, your
Pretty
in-game
interesting.
experience should be more streamlined. With new content to find, you'll be able to invest in your Atlas trees sooner, engage with Pinnacle content
What?
faster,
Like how
have less
half of the
FOMO
chat is
running
finding out
said
that
Pinnacle
there's some
content,
vulnerability frames
reach
right
higher
now.
levels easier, and do all of that while finding many new chase in-game items.
Adidas. He changed the
Talking
leg.
about finding items is one thing, but what about crafting them?
Oh, please,
We've
Lord.
taken a step back and looked at some of our crafting systems to make some notable improvements.
God, please.
Let's start with essences, which suffered from an issue where the regular
Let's start with
essences were
transmutes.
effectively useless and didn't give players the tools or excitement that a crafting system should provide. To alleviate these concerns, essences are being changed in a few ways. Firstly, they're being changed to function like regals and add specific modifiers with specific values, meaning you know exactly what you're going to get. We found that players were often bottlenecked by regal orbs when crafting in the campaign, so this helps to fill that gap, allowing you to better upgrade your items.
Interesting.
For example,
Very...
this lesser essence
I
of
wouldn't have
flames,
expected GGG
which will
would
be
add
able
this.
to add a flat amount of fire damage to your magic martial weapons. Secondly, we're adding many more tiers. That lesser essence of flames, for
Wow, that's
example, has a
lot.
regular variant and a greater variant too, adding even more fire damage with each upgrade.
I guess it's
The
not that much,
intention of
actually,
this
for
is
it
so
to
that when you
hand it.
find one early on, you don't worry about holding on to it till later to use on a higher level item. You should feel free to use them as they come to get powerful upgrades during the campaign.
I mean, I think the idea is that they suck in the end game.
Lastly, our highest tier of essences, now
Okay.
called Perfect Essences,
Except these
will
ones.
function like a Chaos Orb instead of a Regal. So it will replace one of the modifiers on your rare items with the specified mod,
Oh.
such as this Perfect Essence of Flames.
Oh, that's
You'll notice
strong,
this one
too.
doesn't just add flat fire damage like the ones before it. The Perfect Essences often give
Time to
something a bit
gamba.
different.
It's like a
with some
super veiled
opportunities
Chaos
to be pretty
Orb
damn
thing.
powerful.
Old Chaos
There are
Orb.
many different essences, each with
It's
many
like old
tiers,
Ashling.
covering many of the more core modifiers you'd want on items early on, through to chase specialized ones for endgame. Speaking of endgame, we really wanted to expand our crafting options for late endgame crafting
It
projects.
has been an hour, by the way,
You
chat.
might have noticed that at endgame, you get way too many transmutes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if some of those didn't drop, but instead you got something a little more powerful?
Yeah?
At higher levels, you can now find Greater Orb of Transmutation and Perfect Orb of Transmutation. These can be used on normal items to upgrade them to magic, ensuring that the modifier generated is of a minimum level. This is similar to how you find higher tier items on the ground.
Fucking get rid of it! Get rid of this
These higher
shit
tiers
system!
will also exist for Orb of
It
Augmentation,
won't work, GGG!
Regal Orb, Exalted Orb,
What are you
and Chaos Orb.
doing?
meaning you can get all of the orbs required to take your item from
We
normal
don't
rarity
want to pick
a
up
fully
items from the
completed rare
ground and
with
click a
guaranteed high tier
transmute and
mods.
throw it back on the ground, please!
On top of these new core crafting currencies, we wanted to make sure there are powerful crafting bases to use them on. Now in endgame, you can start to find exceptional items. These are items that drop at normal rarity and are perfect for your from-scratch crafting projects.
Fuck off!
They can come with extra
off.
quality, up to 30%,
Fuck
or
off.
an additional socket to use your crafting socketables in. And yes, they can be corrupted for yet another socket.
Why are you doing this?
You can also get exceptional unique items.
The crafting project is gonna be clicking a transmute and
Add
throwing
even
it on the
further to your
ground.
crafting arsenal, we've added a whole suite of new omens to ritual content, and removed some of the more unimpactful ones that weren't being used. Some of the new omens
God, I
include
hope I'm just
the
wrong
Omen of
about
the
this.
Ancients,
Fuck me.
which will cause your next Orb of Chance to not
I
destroy
mean, I
the
guess
item,
it's better than nothing.
but generate a random unique of the same class.
What am I looking at?
Or
What is
the
happening
Omen
right
of
now?
Sanctification, which is my new favorite.
Yeah?
This will cause your next Divine Orb used on a rare item to re-roll the values of its modifiers, allowing it to exceed the normal minimum and maximum values,
Oh my god.
raising the ceiling on the new most powerful rare items in the game.
What are we doing right
This
now?
omen will also cause your item to become sanctified. Sanctified items cannot
What
be
are we
crafted,
doing?
just
What
like
are we
corrupted
doing?
ones, so
are
consider
we
carefully
doing?
when you use this.
What are we doing?
Another is the Omen of Chaotic Monsters, which will cause your next
I mean, I
Chaos
guess
Orb
stuff
to
like this is
reroll
cool
all
on items,
modifiers
to
on
be
a
honest.
waystone,
Items are
allowing you to
always
fix your
exciting.
maps if you get some modifiers that are not feasible for your build.
What are
Besides
we
these
doing?
examples, there is a huge variety of new omens for you to discover in your ritual encounters.
What are we doing?
With the release of Act 4,
What are we
notably
doing?
taking place in the Kardori Archipelago,
Turn it
you'll
off.
be able to now find a new currency item,
Get this off my
Henikora's
screen.
Lock.
Nah.
Henikora, the Kardori goddess of death, has the power of foresight and is able to see many futures, including the outcome of your next craft. So, imbuing her lock onto an item gives you that same power too. For example, you'll know whether or not to use an Exalted Orb on your item, as you will know exactly what the outcome is.
Oh my god.
So, with all these new crafting improvements,
actually going all
it's
out,
safe to say you're going to be making some epic items, and not
I don't
necessarily
know.
just ones for
Itemization
yourself.
is fun.
So given
I just
that,
hate the
it's time
transmute
to
shit,
talk about a
but all
massive
this new
one.
stuff, I'm fine
Trade.
with it.
It's finally here. The moment we've all been waiting for. Fully asynchronous trade. Over the years, the way players trade with each other in Path of Exile 1 has morphed from using the forums through to the in-game chat,
I remember this
all
too.
the way through to using the website. These
Why don't you show
systems,
XYZ?
in all their iterations, work for a while, but with each iteration, new problems eventually reveal themselves. Be it requiring you to be in your hideout too much instead of out there killing monsters, or never getting responses from people who are either AFK or just can't be bothered.
It's time to play Trade League.
In order to finally solve
And
this,
an actual merchant.
and this has been a long time coming, we're adding a new system that allows you to buy items from other players without requiring the seller to be present. They can continue farming, killing monsters, AFK as they please, and can even
It's
be
actually
offline.
like console, huh?
With the introduction of King's March in Act 4, you will encounter Ange, assistant to Rog in the Meridian Free Traders Company. Over the last 2 decades or so, since Path of Exile 1's storyline, Faustus has handed down his knowledge and expertise to Ange, and she is now ready to take over his business.
Okay.
If you have a hideout unlocked already, you can immediately invite her there. If you don't have a hideout yet, you will need to acquire one. You can do this by completing a quest to defeat one of the bosses inhabiting an island in Act 4,
Oh, nice. You don't have to be in maps anymore.
allowing you then to take a slice of it for yourself,
Yeah,
making
Act
it your
4?
new home and base of operations.
'Cause that's not a
Once
big
invited
difference.
to your hideout, she will now
Good way to
serve as
stop boss.
operating
What do you
your
mean?
currency
This is the
exchange,
the
but
reason why they
also
didn't
serve
add
as
this
the
in PoE1
figurehead
was
in your
because of
new
how
trading
beneficial it was
empire.
for bots.
So,
This
how
is
does this new system
literally
work?
The
In
biggest
the existing
downside
trade
is the
system,
bots.
you would list items for sale in premium stash tabs. And then when someone wanted one, you'd have to take it out for yourself and trade it to them.
Yeah.
Now, instead of using those, you can give your items to Ange so she can sell them for you. Each item must have a price set. The prices are set using in-game currency items, such as Exalted Orbs or Chaos Orbs. Once a price is set, other
guys see
players will
the
be able to
plus
find the
window?
item by searching for it on the trade website.
You're gonna have to buy tabs for
Once a
this.
desired item has been found, you can hit a button, which will instantly teleport your character in-game to their hideout. Then, you can immediately purchase the item. And while there, if you want, browse their other goods,
You're gonna have
in
to
case
look
there's
at
a
the
good
NPC?
deal someone else hasn't yet discovered. You'll notice that as a buyer, on top of the currency the
Oh.
seller set for the price, it also costs gold to purchase an item, as Ange has bills to pay after all. As a seller, you'll immediately receive a notification when an item of yours is sold.
It's
And
an
can
interesting
also
way of
see an
doing
effect
it.
above
That's
Ange in your
different than I
hideout
expected.
when she has unclaimed currency. Just go talk to her, claim your currency, and continue playing at your leisure.
It's interesting that you still
As
have
many
to
people
go.
already acquired premium stash tabs for the purpose of the trade system, we wanted to add a way for you to convert your existing tabs to merchants tabs, if you want.
Man, people are gonna be
You can
so
do that
mad
here
about this.
on the website, but only if you purchase those tabs before the release of the 3rd edict.
Oh,
To
people are
clarify,
gonna be so
the
mad
existing
about
trade
this.
system will remain
Fuck 'em.
fully intact, so your premium
I want
stash
to give
tabs will not
GG
lose
money.
any
Make
of their
good game.
functionality.
I want to give you money.
We
But
just
people are gonna
figured
be
people might
crying
want to
about
switch
this.
over to this new system.
People are gonna be mad.
We expect a lot of feedback around this new system and are looking forward to trying it out with you. As we are not able to test internally with an entire thriving economy,
No, you find that
there will
item on the
certainly be
website.
some kinks to work out. Based on how
It's
the
just instead
system
of trading
goes,
with the player,
we'll
you
be
trade with
adding it to
Ange.
Path of Exile 1 when ready, so any of the tabs you purchase will also be usable there later. Next up,
man.
we're going to be talking about our new supporter packs. Today,
People are gonna be
we're launching
mad
2
about
new
that.
series of supporter packs.
But still, I mean,
The
it's
Justice
an interesting way of
and
doing the
Trust and
system.
Executioner packs. Each tier contains the pack's
I guess
full
the
face
only
value
reason
and
why they're
points,
doing it. Holy
alongside
fuck, that looks
several
crazy.
exclusive
What is that thing?
microtransactions. As
I want to
always,
wear what
the
that guy's
microtransactions
wearing.
in these packs are
The guy
purely
in the back.
cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way.
Unlike the trade tabs.
The Justice series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. Claim
I wanna
glory
look like
after
the
defeating
pet.
enemies, or inspire
Give me
your
the
allies
pet.
by calling down the Banner of Justice portal. The Sphinx Mystic hideout decoration will identify items for you,
I want
displaying them
this.
as it does so.
I want to be this guy.
Ancient creature has been presented with many items over the eons, so has some strong expressions to make on the quality of your wares. Become a true warrior, worthy of delivering the justice of the eternal gods with the Apostle of Justice armor set.
Yeah, you go to Ange and the guy's
This
hideout
armor set
exactly.
also comes with a matching
It's
back
literally the
attachment
same as current
containing a
trading,
set of
except
scales to measure your
the guy
worth.
doesn't have to like be there.
With the Apostle of Justice
Just click
finisher
the
effect
item and
equipped,
that's it.
the Goddess of Justice herself will appear to decide on a verdict for slain
I mean, that's
unique
how I
enemies.
understood it anyway.
Witness as she decides the fate of your slain foes. Will they ascend to be amongst the gods or be banished to the underworld?
They've talked about that system before, but
The Griffin fledgling
They held
pet
back
will be
on
your
it because of
courageous
bots.
companion as you journey throughout Rayclast. Take your place in the skies in the Plateau of the Gods hideout. This hideout comes with many different sections for setting up your home or base of operations.
the new trade system.
In order to
And
travel
I hope
between
that it
them,
becomes the new
you
standard
simply
just
need
because of
to
the
walk off the
milkers.
edge.
I don't want
Like a
people
true
telling me,
eternal god, you can float between the
you know,
mountains
if I
on the
buy
clouds
something
themselves.
quickly, then good.
The Trathan
I don't want a guy
Executioner
telling
pack
me,
series
"Oh,
also
sorry,
contains 6 exclusive
I sold it too
microtransactions.
cheap. I'm gonna relist it
The
for 10
Trathan
times more
Executioner
because 2
finisher
people
effect is
messaged
a
me.
brutal display of Trathan might, crushing slain
But,
unique
like, the problem
enemies
is that
as if
benefits
they
the
were
bots,
bugs
right?
beneath your heel.
Because the bots are just gonna
As a
scan the
Trathan
website and
Executioner,
buy the items
you're the
instantly.
perfect master for the
and then relist
ever-hungry
them.
carrion raptor pet. It has taken a particular liking to the taste of other
It's
pets.
just gonna be a bot
and at your
speedrunning
command, it will
competition.
swoop down and eviscerate them, proceeding to satisfy its hunger by feeding on their corpse. The nobles of the 4 major Trathan houses had their mercenaries, but if their hired
bots have
hands
to
became
play to
notably
get
irritating,
gold.
they'd have
I
to call
mean,
in the Trathan
I guess.
Executioners. You can now embrace their methods and
I mean,
become
that's the thing about
brutality
bots, right?
incarnate with
They
the
can scan the
cruel
website and
Trathan
play the game at the same
Executioner
time.
armor set. The matching
Yeah,
cruel
true.
Trathan Executioner cloak will
Wait, the
shroud
China
you in
bots are gonna be
scalp
too
as you
slow,
crush
and
the
they
skulls of your
advantage.
enemies and leave a
Wait,
trail of
people are gonna
blood
have
behind
faster
you
loading
as you
screens, so
build
the
up the
China
kill
bots are
streak.
gonna lose.
Or use the alternate variant to simply put a skeleton
NA
on your back.
bots to the moon.
Be bathed in blood as you mutilate monsters with the
Holy.
cruel Trathan Executioner character effect. The swirling blood increases in volume as your spree of slaughter
Are they
continues.
doing a Q&A after
Both
this?
this effect and the cloak use the same kill streak for tracking how much blood is shown. After a long
I
and
thought there's
tiring
only
day of
40K viewers.
executions,
I'm like, what the fuck?
enjoy a relaxing
fell
game
off.
of dice with the Goblin Gambler's Hideout decoration. They'll definitely be playing fair, right? The Pulverizer map device brings a horrid efficiency to punishing the damned of Trathus. Each map you open will execute the next
Patch notes
victims.
too? Well, they said they're incomplete patch
This
notes,
map
right?
device in its true ruthlessness
Or like
tracks the
partial,
total number
whatever.
of monsters
I don't
killed,
remember what they
your
said.
kills per second, and your largest kill streak up to the point of the map
No one
being
cares about
completed.
PoE2. PoE2
This
is
is then
literally
displayed
like
on a
4 times bigger
leaderboard
than
so you can
PoE1.
take a measure of you and your friends' violence at the
Even
end
now.
of each map. Additionally, any microtransactions from the supporter
4 times.
packs
Or
will
like
be made
10
available
times.
for use in Path of Exile 1.
PoE2 is so much
That's
bigger
enough about
that
cosmetics.
it doesn't even make
Let's
sense for
get
them
into
to
the Q&A.
work on PoE1.
But firstly, I want to give a huge thank you for your ongoing
Just why
support.
they don't want to do it.
We're
but,
just
I
about
mean,
to start the Q&A with
It is
Ziggy
what it
D.
is.
Afterwards, at 11 a.m.
I'm
NZ
lowering
time,
volume, I'm gonna
or
yap.
4 p.m. Pacific, we'll post Path of Exile 2, the third Edict's patch notes.
Oh,
With the release at the end of
So
next
no
week,
patch notes at
our
all.
community team will be posting crucial information you need for the release. Keep an eye on the news. Thanks for joining us today.
I mean, it's
and
just better
checking out our latest
monetization,
developments.
you know? It's not even like
We're looking
a
forward to seeing your experiences with Act 4 and its
reflection
new
in the
bosses, fighting the
which game's
Abyssal,
better.
trying new builds, and crafting new items. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
I gotta say, some really good changes and some really polarizing ones. I don't know how I feel about, like, overall the support gym changes and everything. I think that's a really fucking change in the right direction, especially being able to use multiple of the same one. It was one of my biggest complaints. You want us to combo skills, but you don't give us an opportunity to do so. And you've got all these tags and restrictions on how you're able to build your character. It was incredibly cringe and annoying. But it seems like they're removing a lot of that. The only big downside is the fucking Q&A is starting.
Absolutely monumental reveal. We now have
oh, that doesn't sound right.
Q&A session for you.
Nick,
probably like 2 hours or something. So grab a cover, grab a snack and settle in. I'm joined once again by Jonathan and Mark to discuss
double audio. I mean, this is pre-recorded, right? He's just playing it twice. He's got 2 sound sources for it.
We certainly managed to do a lot of things that we were very keen to do.
Yeah, you guys were telling me that this was uniquely nerve-wracking for you because there was, I guess it felt like...
It's not. It's literally pre-recorded for sure. He's just playing I mean, maybe he has the source twice and it's not. Q&A is live? Nah.
I wouldn't want people to feel like we...
I mean, I know that in the past there's been questions, but I feel like the last 2 Q&As were pre-recorded. Anyway, the only thing that I'm really worried about is one, that they're doubling down on this transmute system. I mean, it's a step in the right direction. I mean, it's really not. Like the greater transmutes and all that. I want to say it's a step in the right direction because it's an improvement over the previous system. But at the same time, it's a step in the wrong direction because they don't seem to be willing to like adjust what the system is. It's just jaded. It's live. Sure. It's always been live. Okay, I can tell you for a fact that it hasn't been live at points. All right, so shut the fuck up, Mersky, before I pull out the receipts. All right, I'll fucking leak just to destroy you, you son of a bitch. Do you understand me? I'll fucking blow your dick off clean. Anyway, like you guys even saw it. Like there literally has been issues, like situations where they replayed it. What do you mean? Because of like problems in the stream. Anyway, you want items to be re-rollable? Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, it might work out. It might be good. There's definitely a lot of things that I don't feel like super strongly about in one direction or another. I'm hopeful for a lot of the changes. But yeah, the support stuff, the lineage, I don't know how the fuck to pronounce it. Support gems is weird. Like having to do content to be able to use a support gem that enables mechanical function of your character. I don't know. I don't know. Like, hopefully it's not going to feel like that, and hopefully it's going to be accessible, but we'll see. Unmute. Is it fixed?
We had a plan. It was on the list. It just unfortunately we couldn't get time to sort it. So yeah, that's one of the. It's probably the notable one.
But overall, I mean, the patch looks great.
Kind of discuss around
the Abyss looks really cool. More bosses.
As well, so that you
more like
give people
searching shit on the Atlas.
Where you want to go with that.
I like these systems.
But we should also mention just.
I think there's a lot of things that
the lack of the elephant in the room.
A lot of people aren't gonna like.
No elephant form, but the joke kind of works.
There's also a lot of changes that are moving the game towards PoE1, which people like. I don't know.
Ships.
I think it's a good patch
been working on for a while
from the looks of it so far.
Getting it right.
Any
What
patch
has been
notes,
the challenge with Druid and getting it out?
Well,
what do you think of the trading vending machine?
That we were
I could talk about it for like 10 hours.
And that was the case for at least 2 months of 4 months of development that we were.
Listen, go watch the Q&A if you don't want to hear my thoughts. The trading vending machine is complicated, okay? I've had so many podcasts with Chris who has literally said that they're going to be doing that. There's this entire system in fucking on consoles with trading and the offline trading and everything, and it's always been a balance between like, hey, do we enable the bots, do we not enable the bots by having an offline trading system? But then the bots got so good that now it's probably not gonna make any difference in the first place anyway, and like RMT is rampant, so why would you like gatekeep this away from players if the bots are already like getting all the functionality and whatnot? Like, obviously, more options for people to trade is better, like bottom line. But at the same time, yeah, I worry that things like this are more and more pushing us towards the pay to win abyss, you know? Obviously not like official pay to win, even though kinda because of the tabs. But I feel like PoE's already got too many of these like MMORPG players that think like, oh yeah, you know, I've got 3 kids and a job, so even though it's against the terms of service, I should be allowed to pay to win because reasons that don't make sense to anybody but themselves. But yeah, you don't win against bots. Yeah.
Prioritization.
Anyway,
Yeah, it seems like it's probably the hardest class of all. Then
might be, yeah.
I think it will be.
Yeah.
You're getting a bit more ambitious.
TLDR.
That's
true.
Patches looking
every
juicy.
class is a step up from the last in terms of that.
And
yeah.
okay, one
so
final thing is my favorite thing that they're doing, which is the solution to every problem that I always have with PoE. Always is like add more shit to the skill tree, and they're doing a lot of that. So nice. Oh, yeah, and the armor change, I really don't know how I feel about that. I kind of hate how they were talking about defenses. And, like, the only thing that they changed are the things that were already the strongest way of building defenses. They literally showed a Deadeye talking about, like, weak defenses. And then they showed fucking Warbringer talking about weak defenses. And it's like, brother, you're showing the 2 tankiest things, the 2 classes that have like any way of building like good defenses in the game as your examples of defenses being like, what are we talking about here? That was really sus. And yeah, I think the armor changes are bad because armor is bad. It's just that now it's going to also apply to elemental attacks, aka you're going to take no damage until you die, but then maybe block fixes that. Like when you get 75% block in PoE 1, you feel literally indestructible. Like you're fucking immortal. Like people always talk about this whole like, oh yeah, you never die unless you don't block and then you die instantly. Like it really never happens. Like I don't know what it is, but I've played millions of block characters and it just doesn't feel like that. You genuinely feel destructible. And then when it comes to the boss things that are supposed to kill you, it's the big red attacks. And then that's supposed to be built around the fact that you're never going to be able to defend yourself against it. So are you just going to be like indestructible against everything except those attacks, which I like. I mean, I like that idea. You dodge it or you fucking die. That's good. But like, did that work for armor and physical attacks in the past? It didn't. Are they changing the system sufficiently to make it work and therefore make it work for elemental attacks? I don't think so. So, I don't know. But if you want to play armor but no shield, then you shoot a crossbow. Pew pew!
Some stuff to address this, but effectively you've got like the pinnacles at the end, and you've got like obviously when you start.
Like I'm optimistic, but I'm
like there's those
also
kind of
skeptical.
mid-end game goals that you can easily
I
achieve.
hope it's fine, but yeah,
that's kind of the issue that we're trying to
just
solve.
a lack of direction, right?
Right.
I think there's not enough like really.
Yeah, the suppression shit
like, the
is
narrative
super
kind of falls
weird.
apart there, right? Because it's just like open world, and you want a bit more of telling you where to go, what
Deflection
to do, have
or
those
whatever
goals
it's
where you're
called.
like I want to do this next and this next, as opposed to like I could do this or this or this. It's nice to have those, but it's nice to also have the things kind of directing you as to like this is exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
The boss I want to get to.
Oh
So
yeah, and then
kind
the
of just a big
quality
gap there. We want to
items
add
is
a whole
another
bunch of
thing.
stuff in the middle.
That's
there.
a
We have
weird
huge
one too. Like in a way, they're addressing my biggest issue, which is support gems and the way that you feel like you're always on rails and you've only got one way of building your character, which they're kind of addressing by not limiting the support gems and like adding new support gems and making it so that they seem like more interchangeable. So they're kind of addressing like one of the two biggest problems that I have. The second one being the crafting, where now crafting, like you're picking up a white item off the ground and you're clicking a transmute, but you're technically picking up less items because you're a lot more likely to hit the thing because of the greater transmute system. But at the same time, is that going to make it so that you aren't going to be picking up any white items that if you don't have greater transmutes? No, you still will. And then on top of it, you're going to need the quality items that you're picking up off the ground to then use the greater thing. And then there's going to be like an entire balance there. Like, I don't... Like, does that really address the issue the way that the support gems is getting addressed? I like the support gem stuff. I think that's a really good step in the right direction. I don't like the way that they're doubling down on current crafting. And they're adding all these band-aids like, oh yeah, greater transmutes, Hinekora's lock, all these other like currencies. I don't know. We'll see. Again, I'm optimistic, but I've told the story before, you know, when Neon and Jonathan were explaining these systems to me at ExileCon before all the announcements and everything, and I was like, oh fuck, this sounds cool, oh that sounds amazing, wow, what a good system, oh I can't believe this is such a good solution to PoE1's whatever system. And then they started explaining crafting to me, and the more they talked, the more I was like, this sounds really bad. And they were like, no, trust us, just trust us, like when you play it, it'll feel good. It doesn't feel good, and they're not making changes to make it feel better as far as I'm concerned. But maybe this will be enough. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Bye. I hope so.